Hi, Arlene. How are you?
I'm great. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Arlene, for saying yes. I'd like to introduce myself formally. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. Oh, wow. You coming up to my, sliding into my DM is, I felt very happy because the essence of my podcast talks a lot about self worth. And then you're coming in to share your insights and experiences as somebody who wants to balance work and life, or like I view it, life and work, right? Because I prefer to put it life first and then work. So, yes, I'm excited to get into the conversation. So, if you'd allow me, I'd like to introduce you to our listeners today, and then we can get right into the conversation.
That sounds wonderful.
All right. So, hello, everyone. We have Arlene Cohen Miller here with us. Arlene brings a wealth of training and experience to help you compassionately and wholeheartedly lead yourself and create the life that works and feels right for you. A life where you experience less stress and more patience, kindness, and peace. A life where you experience more contentment and joy. She's a work life balance coach and a professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. Arlene is also a Colorado attorney, a certified meditation facilitator, and has a diploma in transformational holistic counseling from Australia. Wow, welcome, Arlene.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'd like to take our listeners a trip down memory lane. Can you share with us first what was it like growing up as an Arlene?
Well, I grew up in the southern part of the U.S. Right now, I live in the West. It's very beautiful. Actually it's one of the places that they raise and breed horses. And I mean it's very
Wow,
cosmopolitan too. But yeah, Lexington, Kentucky, where I went to law school, is a place they raised and breed horses and have the Kentucky Derby, which is known all over the world. But anyway, it was a pretty normal, mom and dad and suburban kind of lifestyle growing up. Very happy and secure. And when I was about 15, I decided that I wanted to become an attorney, much to my parents' surprise, because that was, I think, the first in the family. So, yeah, so my father's pretty traditional, but he supported me all the way through it. And so I did become an attorney. I've had two law firms, one in Cleveland, Ohio, which is in the Midwest in the U.S., and one out in Colorado where I live now. And when I opened my first solo practitioner, law firm on my own when I was 29, I found out I was pregnant. So I have been
whoa,
and my family was all in Kentucky, which is like a 6-hour drive away.
right.
So, and my husband's family was away too. And so I really had to scramble and learn by myself how to have a business and take care of a child. And it was a really interesting journey. I'm really grateful for it. And so, yeah, so I've been a working mother, both married, divorced, single my whole life. And it's been a really cool journey. I don't know, not too long ago, we sold our law firm in Colorado. I was like a lawyer for a long time. I wanted to, focus on coaching and mentoring and facilitating. And while I was a partner in this second small law firm, I got my diploma in coaching and mentoring and a diploma in transformational holistic counseling, as well as my certification as a meditation facilitator. I was very busy. So yeah, I just always wanted to do something else, and that's what I do now.
Wow, what a journey. I know I'm gonna learn a lot from you, Arlene. Okay, so when you said that you were an attorney, because I'm okay, maybe I didn't introduce myself of where I am right now. I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So I know the journey to becoming an attorney is different in the States. You have to do, I don't know, your bar and whatnot. What's the process like?
You have to have an undergraduate degree, 4 years
Okay,
of college, a
all right,
university. You have to take an entrance exam, and get a certain score in it to be admitted to law schools. Every school has different requirements, and once you get in, it's 3 more years of law school. Some people go on to get like a master's in taxation. Not my deal at all, but that's like another year if you want to do that after that. So it was
wow.
7 years. It was 7 years of higher education to become a lawyer. Plus then you have to
Four
take a
plus
bar
three.
exam. And then you have to take a bar exam in the state that you want to practice law and to be able, to practice in that state.
Much like a lawyer, right? So,
Yeah.
sorry, a doctor. Sorry, a doctor. A doctor, you need about 7 years too, or
No.
longer.
Well, they have 4 years of university. I was married to a doctor, that's why I know. Then they have
Okay.
have their residency where they specialize, and some of them specialize in, two residencies. Residencies are 1 to 3 years. So, and then you have to, of course, take an examination to be licensed to be a doctor in whatever field your expertise is in. So it's a long haul too.
Wow. Wow. I have major, major respect for people who pursues education. I love it. Okay, now we're gonna go into the work-life balance. You believe, and I read on your profile that work-life balance is from the inside out. What do you mean by
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed on the internet, but there's all sorts of like life hacks and work hacks and mom hacks, and they have these great suggestions. I'm not putting them down. There's nothing wrong with them. There's some great ideas out there of how we can simplify our lives, how we can organize our lives, and, and give us more time. Simple thing, you can order your groceries online and have them delivered to you, which could be a big deal if you have small kids and you need to, schlep them to the grocery store and everything like that. But that's really not going to change how you feel on the inside. If you're overwhelmed, if you're stressed, if you feel like there's no way you can take care of everything that's on your plate and you're not sure what to do, you really have to come to a place of more calm assurance, of knowing how to let go of stress from the inside out so that even if your plate doesn't change, you're going to have more of an ability because how you feel to handle what comes up for you in your life. And you're going to have more of an ability to make decisions from the heart that are going to work for you if you're more in that calm, grounded, fully present, loving heart kind of space.
how do we do that? How do we cultivate that? That's the big question, like the
That is a
million
big question.
dollar question.
Well, I can start off with some very simple things. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think we try to make things complicated. We try to figure out things with our mind, and that gets in the way 'cause we're thinking and thinking and thinking. And the
The
more we think,
thinking mind, not
the
the
more stressed
feeling
out
mind.
we
Yeah.
get, all stressed out. Doesn't help. But what we can do is just start with some simple breath work. There's a lot of breath work that we can do that simply takes us from that really stressed place to like a rest and relax mode. One simple breathing technique is just breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose and having that out breath longer than the in breath. So you're just breathing in through the nose, then you're breathing out through the nose and having the out breath longer. And our spiritual heart is like right here in our chest. So we can breathe in gratitude to our spiritual heart. That's where our heart chakra is. And we can breathe out through the nose. And we're just letting go of physical stress, of anything that we're holding on to. We're just letting it go. I know that this is a little crazy, but I like to visualize this beautiful violet flame around me that sort of transmutes and transforms fear into love. It is kind of a real thing. It is an energy we can use on this planet. And so anything that I let go of, any thoughts, any feelings that are not about love, that are like in my body, all stressed out, all making me tight and contracted, I'm just letting them go. And I'm visualizing this violet flame flooding through me into the heart of the planet. And so I'm giving and when that energy that's about fear, that's about stuff, that's about tense and tight, goes into that violet flame, it's transmuted into love, and I'm gifting it as usable energy for the planet, that love. My body doesn't need it anymore. And then I'm calling in light and love into my physical body, my emotional body, my mental body, to fill up those places where they were filled with things that weren't about love, that stress, that tension, that anxiety, that overwhelm. I'm filling my body up with that light and love, and I'm gifting that energy that is now love to the planet. So for me, that's a part of my service work because no one has to know about it. I don't need that energy anymore. It's just been stuck energy that's not helping me in my body. I'm gifting it to her, and I'm filling myself up with more light and love. And what happens as we play with a process like that is that more and more cells in our bodies are filled with light and love, and less are filled with fear. That was a big mouthful. I'm spelling, but you
Yeah.
asked.
But I was just imagining the energy transfer between us and Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia. I love Gaia.
Yeah.
She's
And then
gorgeous.
she is. So yeah, I have spoken to a lot of people, a lot of meditation teachers, and they say that, and I too, because I'm human and I forget. It's been very hectic for me the last month. I was in the States in September, so I just got back and I was making like some pretty big decisions about my life. Moving from Kuala Lumpur all back home before I migrate again. So and those decisions, those time, sometimes I forget to how do I say this? It took me a while to really recalibrate and then really bring myself to that peace or stillness state that because I used to be very frantic. I used to be chasing, and then after in the corporate world, and then after that, only when I realized that when I was let go, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a chance from the universe to say, okay, maybe you should refocus and see where you are at right now. I mean, mentally, spiritually as well. So, but then when big decisions are being made, you sometimes you forget to breathe. Like your head is like you're about to have that migraine, but suddenly when you think about it, did I breathe today? And
Right.
then you just and in that instant, that second, then you can suddenly begin to think clearly again. So I
Yeah.
forget. I know the importance of breath work, but sometimes I do forget as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
another thing that you might also enjoy because you know who Gaia is, she's the being that embodies our planet, and she loves us. You know, she gifts us these bodies so that we can incarnate into form, and she unconditionally loves us. You know, there's not a lot of unconditional love on this planet. A lot of it's transactional. I will love you provided you do X,
If
Y, and Z for
yeah,
me.
correct.
And she's not like that. She just loves us unconditionally. And so another way to help bring us back to here and now is to, from our heart chakra, that energy center right in our chest, you visualize this column of light going down your body, out your legs. It's these huge roots of light, and you're a tree and you're anchoring into Gaia's heart. So your heart is connected, her heart is connected to my heart, and I'm physically grounding into the planet. So I'm affirming I am fully present here now. And when I'm fully present here now, I'm not thinking about the past where I might be remorseful or I might be imagining or reminiscing, and I'm not thinking about the future where I might be, in anxiety or stress or overwhelmed with all that I have to do. I'm right here. And that sort of brings me back to center, you know? That just brings me back to okay, I can handle this because I'm not scattered. Because when we go into stress, sometimes our physical body's here, our emotional body's over there, our mental body's over there. We need to pull them all in so they're all over our high heart. And that's when we feel scattered. You know, that's why we pull ourselves in. You didn't expect this from me, did you?
No, thank you. I needed this. I needed this. Like, yeah, because when it's like hearing from a coach, I think this is gonna be like a mini coaching session as well for me because I've not been really grounded the last couple of days or weeks. So when you said it, it's like, okay, it's okay, Nicolette, you can pivot and then start again. Start
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much for that, Arlene.
You're
Um,
welcome.
okay, next question. What is a simple way to upgrade our experience of life? Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Wordless podcast. Now, if these real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
Well, the first thing we need to do is stop doing a lot of things that don't serve us because lots of people think, well, I need to add more things to my life. But a lot of the things we need to do is just stop doing things. For example, stop having
I love that.
expectations. Oh, am I right? You're right there with
But
me the whole
yeah,
time, aren't you?
no, yes, because you see now that I'm here right now, I'm in a more like slow pace city. It's like I feel there's this thing within me like I see the word I have to be productive, whereas I look forward to just not doing anything.
Yeah. And when you're not doing anything, it's important not to have expectations, of yourself, because expectations are judgments, and judgments are about fear. So if we're, we can organize ourselves. You're pouting at me. We can organize ourselves and have things that we want to do. But lots of times, what I find that I used to do is I would make a to-do list that I told myself I could get done today. But if I was being honest, it would take a whole week. So we set ourselves up for failure because we give
Yeah,
ourselves
yeah, yeah,
more than
yeah,
we can
yeah.
possibly do in one day. And then we have an expectation that we're going to do it. And so then we can't do it. It's impossible. And then we fail at it, and then we beat ourselves up for that.
That's right.
So it's
Why
just
are we
not
torturing
helpful.
ourselves?
Why are we torturing ourselves? I don't know. And I love there's this really cool book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. And I don't know if that's okay to talk about. But anyway, have you heard of
No,
that book?
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, well, when we what we have to do is have like what is our top priority? Sometimes there's like, and that's sometimes the things we just don't want to do. It's like the phone call we have to make. It's like it's that biggest, ugliest frog of the world. And it's like we've been putting it under the stack of all the things we have to do. We've been doing all these other things, but that frog is still there. And so here's one of the things he teaches is that you eat the biggest, ugliest frog the first day of the day. You get that thing done, you make that phone call, you write that letter, whatever it is, and the rest of the day is icing on the cake, because you're going to feel so much more relaxed when you get that thing done that you haven't wanted to do, that needs to be done, that maybe you've been procrastinating about. And you're going to feel more peace and ease and calm with whatever else you do accomplish, because you got that thing done that's been like a weight on your shoulders, or just going around in circles in your mind that you really have to do it.
This is oh my gosh. This is what I love talking to my yes, it's because when you guys are talking, I am like drifting, imagining myself doing that exactly what you just mentioned.
I know
And
it's really
already
cool being a podcast guest with you, because I'm watching you and I go, whoa, she's going on a journey there.
exactly you can see it from my expression, from
Yeah.
my eyes. My eyes are like this, so that means I'm thinking. It's like, okay, I'm about to drift away. But okay, come back, come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, and anything to do with judging ourselves, which brings ourselves down, or, being that inner critic to ourselves. All those kind of things we want to stop. And that's going to open our hearts to more love and to step into a new way of being. Because most of the things that, some of the things we're doing is just bringing ourselves down. If we can just notice what we're doing and become aware of it, and just find a way to begin to stop those things. Because once we're aware of negative patterns and programs, and how we're treating ourselves is not working, and we're facing it loses so much energy, because we created those things, and then it doesn't have the same power over us. And we can start making new decisions that are going to be more about peace and calm assurance and getting the same things done we need to, but from a different space. I'm sorry.
Well, no, no, no. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you were saying it. I'm like, okay, okay, yeah. In my head,
Every
like,
time your face
I
says
got.
face is everything you're thinking and everything you're feeling. It's just so much fun.
So I'm gonna do it in my head. When you were saying it, I'm gonna check off one out of my list already, because it's already almost done. By tomorrow, by this week, should be done. And the biggest frog, because I moved, right? So I planned to sell up my car, but I had to leave my car in the city first. And then because I have to ship it back here, I'm like, I don't know. I need to sell it. Yeah. So now I'm going to manifest it, express my intention to the universe, and then let it come to me that the right buyer will come and buy it.
Yeah.
And then,
Can I
yeah.
add one more thing there? Is that, we always get supported by spirit, and we have to take those steps because they can't do the steps for us on the ground. So you can visualize and feel the success of your car being sold to the right and perfect person, getting a great price. But on the ground, you need to take those steps to make it happen. We have to do it. Spirit can't do it for us. They can work through us, but we actually have to. We can visualize it. We can feel it. We can know what's happening. We can have a singing heart about it, but we still have to take that action on the ground. And if it doesn't, and things don't always happen in the time that our human brain wants it to
Yeah.
happen, And if that
That's right.
happens, we have to just be like kind, patient, and tolerant with ourselves and with the process.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Okay. I'm not lecturing. I just don't
thank
want
no
you
no
to
no
think,
no no,
Arlene
but
said
really.
this.
So I'm like, yeah, and I don't use it, so it's a catch-22. So I have to calm myself down, and then take the action, and then put it out there. Yeah. So
Yeah. And sometimes we just have to find a way to pay out the cash and know that we're going
yeah,
to get the cash back. And then, because, worry and doubt, then doubt is poison. And if we worry about it, then we're putting energy, worry into what we're trying to create, what we are choosing, not trying, what we're choosing to create for ourselves. And yes, that can be difficult, but sometimes we just, there's kids inside of us to get like, that they get worried or scared and we're the parent to them. And I just sort of ask myself when I'm having those worries, feelings, and, how old is Arlene inside? It might be 8 or 14 or 22, who knows? And I turn around and I love and support her because obviously I wasn't there for certain points of her life or she wouldn't be kind of languishing there. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But the soul and
yeah.
spirit might be soaring, but there might be bits inside of ourselves that need to be brought back into more wholeness into our hearts that need our love. And they're the bits of ourselves, the human bits, that are having those anxieties, fears, and reactions that we can do something about by loving those bits.
Wow. Thank you, Arlene.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what do you say to women who feel selfish or guilty for taking time for themselves?
This is a huge problem, because I feel like it's genetic. I feel like it's passed down from women from generation to generation. I saw it in my mother. I saw it in my mother's mother. I broke a lot of that, but in the process, I sort of acted out as a teenager and as a young woman to do that. And really, the whole bottom line is that the whole premise is false, that we just have to give and give and give because we have a cup here. And if we don't fill it up with self-love and self-care, the well is going to run dry. We're going to feel angry and upset and irritated with people that want something from us and they're not giving anything back. Then we're going to feel that. Then we're going to feel guilty for that. Then we're going to go back into being that doormat and that people pleaser again. And that cycle is going to perpetuate. But in the meantime, that cup of love that we need to fill up within ourselves is going to be empty. But when we fill up our own cup of love, that self-love and self-care, however that works for us, and let the overflow of that cup be what we share with other people, we're going to be a much more loving, caring, and kind person because we're not going to be running on empty. So it doesn't even make sense to give away everything because then we're an empty tank and we're probably going to act out and go into a cycle that's not helpful to us and not helpful to the people that we love and care about.
Put on the mask on ourselves for helping others, for
Yet
having
we can
those under
still
our care.
we can still give to those people, but it's not that hard to fill ourselves up with love. Some of my friends get a massage or a pedicure, a manicure. Some of them go hikes in nature. Some of them just, sit and do some meditation or some yoga. Some of them are cyclists. There's a lot of cyclists and runners out in Colorado because, we're in the foothills of the mountains and the mountains go up from where I live. So lots of things can float your boat that really fill you up with that self-care, that self-love. And then we just have more to give to others.
I love that. Okay. Um, how do you stay relaxed when you have a lot on your plate?
Well, I think all of us have a lot on our plates. Sometimes,
Like today. How
like
did you?
today,
Yeah.
I had a lot on my plate today, and so did you. I
Yeah.
guess, some of the things I do is I breathe. I might go outside and take a walk. I went and did a yoga class. I had some conversations with, the people that I live with. All the things I've been sharing with you are things that we can do to relax. I think exercise is great. I feel that getting out in Mother Nature is really, really nurturing. I just feel like Mother Nature is this beautiful energy of like divine love and divine wisdom, divine power, and she just can just flood through us when they're out there in nature. And she's so beautiful. So that's a great healing way. Whatever helps you to really just release, relax, and let go. Some of my friends get out in the garden. I mean, it's different for everyone. There's not one size fits all. you just really have to have things in place where you ask the universe, hey, show me where I'm really getting irritable and I need a break. And then promise yourself you're going to listen and take care of yourself and take a break. And then do something that's nurturing. Lots of times what I used to do is I would notice that and I would push it away until I was ready to explode. I'd give myself a headache or something like that. And so
Yeah.
all we really have to do is just be aware and know that if we take a little bit of time out here, I mean, on a plane is difficult. We can maybe watch a movie, but do something that's a little bit nurturing. I mean, I heard you in the background laughing with your mother before we started our call today, and that was loving and nurturing and, a wonderful break for you after all you've been through to get to where you are today. So, we all have stuff like that, and I just encourage, all your listeners to gift that to themselves. When you do have a day like that, there is always time for that.
Yeah. I think we fail to forget that there is always time for that. We just need to put aside that time, put that time
Yeah,
away. So, Arlene, what work are you most proud of so far?
I don't know. I don't. It's the work, the thing that I'm most proud of. I guess I'm most proud of like how I've harmonized my relationship with my son. That's one thing I'm really
Mm,
proud of. He's
okay.
he's 38. He has a son of his own now, and it always felt like we were like very two strong-willed people, like butting heads as we were growing up. Not all the time, but it feels like I've dropped a lot of things that were getting in the way of our loving relationship, and he has as well. And he feels a lot different about me as a mother now that he understands what it's like to be a father and the challenges of that. And I have the gift of him living, like 25 minutes down the road, and it feels like it's really different now. You know, um, and I'm really grateful for that because it wasn't always easy, because we're very much alike. And so, yeah, that's one of the things I think that's been a big accomplishment in this life.
I, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine what you went through, right? When you were 29 and then you learned that you were pregnant with your son and then you had to work at the same time, opening up your own business. So, okay, can you share with me what was it like and how did you get through that? What were the
Well,
struggles?
what were the struggles? Well, my family lived and my ex's family lived 6 hours away, but it was like an hour and a half plane ride. So I would basically go down there once a month and let them play with my son and get to know their grandson. Since I was married the first like year and a half, I probably worked part time. Even though I was starting a business, it's not easy being a new mom. And I was like really diligent, and maybe it was easier back then, but I interviewed a lot of different women, for childcare. I wanted it to be a home that was loving and caring, and I would feel comfortable leaving my son there. And I found one, and she was a grandmother. She was a grandmother, and she had about 6 other kids in her house, and she was lovely. And when she got older and passed on her daughter, and wasn't exactly a nanny, but she was driving my son around to his activities. He was older then, and he was into karate and he was into chess, and helped out with that kind of stuff. And so I found a network, and I also like developed like a really cool network of women friends. They didn't all have children at the same age at all, but it felt like I needed a community of women to support me. And even one of my friends started like a group. There was like 6 of us, and we get together once a week and we talk about whatever came up for us. And it wasn't about kids necessarily, but it was just nice to know that there was women that were like-minded souls, that we just came together and we did what we did. Whatever happened, happened. And so those were some of the things I put in place. And I was a runner back then, so I always made sure I got out in nature and ran and got out my energy and stuff like that. Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't a perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, those are some of the things I did in addition to, being a mom and being a businesswoman.
Wow. So, okay, sorry to pry. I don't mean to pry. But was it like when you were pregnant, did you get divorced then or after you delivered?
I was That was my choice to leave. I got divorced
Okay.
when my son was 3.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay. So
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 no, no,
the partner your
no,
partner was still there then. Okay.
Yeah. So and he was, I was very lucky because he was able to, provide a lot of economic support. So that wasn't an issue back then. It was just making sure that my son was taken care of and stuff like that. And he did have his dad and his dad's new wife and family. So, he did have a lot of people that loved him. And, I'm very grateful for that as well.
Beautiful. So, Arlene, what are you working on currently? Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. Now, after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? If the answer is yes, visit www.thenickdarasholisticlifestyle.com and grab a free hypnosis audio of these common struggles. It's a sneak peek into how my coaching works. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn and start your transformation today.
Well, I'm looking for podcasts, obviously, because I've been doing a lot of them. I really love them
Like
because
what's your schedule like on appearing on podcasts, like every day or?
when I was in Australia, I did like 3 because, I'm doing other stuff when I'm there and I just wanted to take a
Well,
break.
when did you come back from Australia?
About 3 days ago, I was there for 5 weeks. So I'm still jet lagged, just like you.
Oh my gosh. 3 days ago. Okay, and then you're back at it again. Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, but I love it. It's just a great learning experience. I have this kind of fear of getting in front of people and sharing, and even though I might know my field and everything, it's a different thing when you're on podcasts and some of them are live and everyone asks you different kinds of questions. So I really love the learning experience. I love meeting all kinds of people from all over the world.
Right.
It's really, really cool. I mean, I still have my coaching business and my mentoring business. I do soul readings or, help me to connect with people from the heart and do a different kind of mentoring with them. I facilitate like a kind of an energy healing meditation class. So I'm doing all that kind of stuff that I've been doing. But I really had this, like, I found out I could do this and there was a vibe match and I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to do this for some reason. So it's a new thing on my plate that I'm doing that I really, really love.
I love that. Yeah, when you mentioned that you were in Australia, was it Sydney or New South Wales?
No, I was the other part of the country, Perth, Western
Oh, you
Australia.
were in Western Australia. I love Perth.
I do too. And I was also in the wheat belt where like 2J is, like where they have all the farms and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay, I did not explore that part of Perth, but yes.
It's very different. It's about an hour and a half out of Perth.
Well, okay. So, what do you have next? What is next for you besides
What is
podcasting?
next for me? I'm just going to be continuing to do what I love, which is coaching, mentoring. I do some facilitating. There's a national coaching company called Ingomu, that I facilitate classes with twice a month. I can speak here about boosting your confidence and self-esteem. I work with people with mentoring. I facilitate, energy healing kind of classes. So all the things that I've been doing, I'm not going to add more to my plate besides podcasts because I still love my family and friends and want to spend some time with them. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, I had a full-time career for many, many years. So I want to make sure that I still have time to get out there in nature and do the things that I love and not get so busy that, I'm like a chicken with her head cut off. I don't want to do that ever again.
Wow. Ingo. Yeah, I had a thought. Are you planning or do you have plans or have you ever organized retreats before for
I
what you
haven't
do?
done that, but I have friends that do that and I participate in, that's some of the reasons I like to go to Australia. Some of the retreats that I really love are over there. Just my plate is really full right now. And something else,
But it's a long
but
flight, yeah, from
it's a long
Colorado
flight. Yeah, it
to
is.
Perth. Like what was his journey?
It's like, well, this time I went from Denver, Colorado to San Francisco. And then
Okay.
I flew to Singapore because my baby brother lives there and visited him and his
Right.
wife. And then I
Uh-huh.
went, and then it's a 6 hour flight from there to Perth. It's a long haul.
Oh,
It's a long
shoot.
haul.
It's about a day, 24 hours. It would probably taken you a day. San Francisco and all the way to Kuala Lumpur. Yeah. Gosh. I went
Anyway,
to, yeah, from KL to Los Angeles, and then I took a domestic from Los Angeles to New York. So that too was whew, but it's
it's a
it's
lot
it's
of
a great
travel.
experience. Yeah.
It is a great experience. Yeah, so all those things are, the facilitating things and workshops and retreats are all wonderful. It just doesn't feel like that's at the top of my entry now. And it feels like, I'm doing my best here to follow my heart about, what's next. And so I've only been doing the podcasting stuff for about 4 months. And so this is what's next right now.
I love it. Love it. Okay. Now, Arlene, we're gonna pivot to self-worth question. So the question for you, how do you define self-worth?
Well, self-worth is basically, I don't know if I have a dictionary definition, but it's just,
Doesn't
it's
have to
just
be.
loving, it's just loving and caring for ourselves, and knowing that in all moments that I am worthy of love. I am worthy of self-care. I am worthy of filling my cup up with love and having it being overflowed with love and sharing that overflow with others. So I feel that worthiness is a choice. In moments, I know that I felt unworthy of love. I felt unworthy of those kind of things. And they were just patterns and programs that I took on, but I took them on and I could let them go. And so I always affirm to myself, no matter how I feel, because I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings, I'm not, I'm in soul having a human experience in this human body. So I'm going to keep on choosing to be worthy of love, being worthy of, living a life filled with love and engaging in activities that I can be of service. And I just feel that we don't we don't want to wait for a magic wand. We want to help to make that happen for ourselves and affirm it, even if we're not feeling it in the moment, until we actually do feel it.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you. What is
You're
your
welcome.
heart's greatest wish?
I guess my heart's greatest wish is to continue to keep on, evolving and growing so I'm a greater and greater vessel of love, so I can be more and more service. The planet needs all the love it can get, all the people that can really shine brightly, and to, just continue to be a stronger and stronger spiritual warrior so that, no matter what's going on in the world, or no matter what's happening, I can always, be a strong, oh, sorry about my
That's
phone,
okay,
be a stronger and stronger lighthouse of love. That's what I would love to do in this life.
because it starts with us.
It starts with us. We have a lot of love and support on the inner and the outer, but we have to take that action. We have to do that work.
Mhm. Doing that. Do you have a mantra that you live by, Arlene?
So, quotes that I love a lot, and that's any disaster can become a blessing. Any blessing can become a disaster, and there's always a better way. So no matter what happens in my life, no matter how heart-wrenching it is, I have the ability to turn that disaster into a blessing. I have the ability to turn lemons into lemonade, because even if, a friend of mine dies or someone that I love dies, I can find a way to honor that memory and to dedicate, services for them or whatever, or do something on the planet, in their memory, and turn that disaster into a blessing. But at the same time, it's to really love and be grateful for all the gifts. You always hear about people that win the lottery and then the money's gone in 2 years. So we have the ability to go the other way too. So we need to be aware and not make choices that are stupid. We need to make loving choices for ourselves. And if we make a mistake, it's just an opportunity to learn and grow. And no matter what happens, whether we turn, no matter what's going on in our life, there's always a better way, because we're always like evolving and growing, like moving forward, hopefully. And so even if we face something that's similar, it could be in a higher turn of the spiral.
Again, a reflection from me. Oh, okay. Is there anything that keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well?
I usually sleep well when I'm not jet lagged,
Okay.
but
Okay.
normally I sleep really, really well. I guess it's I did have a time in my life when I really had trouble sleeping and I had to go through like this behavioral stuff to learn how to reprogram my body, which was really interesting. But in these days, I am sleeping well. And I guess it's because I know I work with a process called feeling is healing, where I'm honoring
Sorry,
and
what was
feeling.
that?
It's called feeling is healing.
Ooh, healing is healing. Okay.
So I get myself in a real aligned to love and centered in my heart space. And I just allow myself to feel my feelings. And then I just let them go into the violet flame as usable energy for the planet and welcome more light and love into my bodies and into my life and my heart. So that no matter how difficult feelings feel, how fearful or anxious or stressful or horrible they feel, they're not who I am, and I can allow them to be felt, acknowledged, and move through me and replace them with more love so that when I go to bed at night, I'm not all backed up with all the things that I tried to push away that I didn't want to feel. Because what I experienced when I was younger, I was really good at pushing them away, but then they would kind of boomerang and hit me again. And, one time I just whacked me and I was just on the floor. And it took quite a while to get back up. So I learned the lesson the hard way. And that's one of the things I teach and facilitate in my spiritual classes, so that people can stand on my shoulders and they don't have to go through what I went through.
Well, thank you for that. Okay. Arlene, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
I would use another quote that I love, another affirmation that I love is I choose to love and love I will. So it's not you're choosing to love from your heart, and you're also putting that power behind the love. So you're being powerfully loving. So I choose to love and love I will. And so I just feel that that's a beautiful affirmation that I love to work with. And if it resonates with your audience or with you, that's great.
I always believe in don't look so much on the messenger, but look at the message. So I feel that every interaction that I have with people, it's always there's something that I need to learn there. So through you, I'm going to use some of it today to really reflect now that I'm in a new place and how am I going to move forward.
Yeah, the same thing happens to me. It's like, oh my gosh, someone just said the absolute perfect thing that I needed to hear. Or they'd say, go look at this thing I just saw on YouTube or whatever. It's really cool. And I watch it and go,
Right.
my God, are you like in my head? What's happening here? So I have
Are
that
you like,
happen all the time too. No, I just think the universe sometimes works with us like it's working with you today. I find it works with me the same way, not all the time, but it's really cool when it does.
yeah. Okay. So how can people reach out to you, Arlene?
Well, I would suggest you go to my website, which is jewelconsultancy.com, Jewel, like the diamond, jewelconsultancy.com. You can find me also on LinkedIn at Arlene Cohen, Cohen Miller. That's good. I have my link is written right there on your podcast. If you are in the United States or Canada, you can always text me at 720-936-2634.
Brilliant. And for our listeners, there you have it, everyone. You heard it straight from the source. Before we wrap up, Arlene, I'd like to thank you personally for the incredible work you're doing for the world. Despite the challenges, you continue to push forward, paving the way for those that will come, that will follow in your footsteps. Your dedication is truly inspiring.
Well,
And for our
thank you.
listeners, so you're welcome. For our listeners, this has been the podcast with that provocative title, You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you've ever found yourself feeling worthless, you're not alone. But more importantly, ask yourself a deeper question. If I'm worthless, then why am I here? The truth is, your soul chose to be here energetically, coming all the way from the ethers. And for that reason alone, you are worthy and you are enough. And with that, this is Arlene Miller, our guest of the day, and I'm Nick Nieras, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, Arlene, for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.